Hey Church, Pastor Shane here with another community group discussion starter video. This week we started a new series called Entrusted Stewardship as a Kingdom Mindset. And we're going to spend the rest of the month of January looking at this concept of stewardship. Now, when many people hear the word stewardship, the first thing that comes to their mind is money. That's not really what we're talking about for the most part. We believe that kind of our whole lives are stewarding the good gifts that God has given us. Stewardship is caring and managing something that God has entrusted to us. And as we kind of walk through some of the scriptures this week, because God is the creator of all things, ultimately we don't own anything when it comes to our houses, our cars, our money, our bodies, our time. All that ultimately belongs to God because He is our creator. And because of that, it makes us kind of really reassess how we should be looking at the things in our lives. That nothing is ours. We are merely stewards of those things that God has entrusted to us. That's where we get, the name of the sermon series. And as we go on, we actually see that word entrusted kind of appears rather frequently kind of throughout the scriptures when it's talking about what we are to steward. That we've been entrusted with the relationships in our lives, with our resources, with our time, our talents, and God desires for us to see that they're ultimately gifts from Him, and all good gifts come from Him, and therefore we should see ourselves as kind of managers caring for these things and glorifying God with them. And we talked about that being a mindset that we kind of have to wrap our minds around, and then it also has to be an action. We have to follow up on our stewardship, to actually care and manage the things that God has given us and do it in a way that glorifies Him and honors Him and serves others. And so it causes us to really reassess the different things in our lives. And that's my hope for you during this discussion, that you kind of start sorting through your life and think about the different things that God has entrusted you with: your house, your car, your work, school, your family, your friends, your talents, your time, your body, like really seeing everything as something that has been given to us, that we've been entrusted with, that we want to use and manage well to glorify God, and that this should be a joyful experience, not something that is a burden to us, not something that kind of weighs us down or puts a lot of pressure on us to achieve something, but rather it is something that we joyfully enter into, that we shouldn't view stewardship as an obligation, but as an opportunity to serve God, to grow in our faith and trust in God with all the things that He has given us. So that's really where your focus should be this week. And in the coming weeks, we'll kind of zoom in on some particular areas that God has given us to steward, and the scriptures say He has given us to steward well. And we'll kind of be exploring those as we go on. But I think this first week, the kind of main thrust of your discussion is kind of sorting through some of those things, the big ideas. How is God the owner of all things? What does that mean for my life? And what are the areas that He may want me to be rethinking and readdressing? And I think there's a real opportunity here in the month of January, right? It's like the new year. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions, but it's also a good time to just think about and meditate on what's going on in one's life. And so I hope that tonight or today or whenever you're meeting with your group, you might pick something that you hadn't really thought about stewarding before. Like maybe you thought about stewarding your finances, but not as much your body, or you thought about stewarding your time well, but maybe you hadn't really thought about that your family is actually something that has been entrusted to you to steward. Whatever that might be, that you pick something to be meditating on throughout the rest of this series, and to kind of keep up to date with your group about that thing that you choose, so that you see how God grows and develops your understanding of it, and how it changes your actions and behavior, what you do with what God has entrusted to you. Hope you have a great discussion.